What's up everyone, welcome back to another YouTube video by Eclipse after a small break. As you might already know, I was a bit busy with finishing the first part of the upcoming course, and you might already saw the video previously, but I'm just gonna shortly brief you. So Scientific Master Course is gonna be contained from several different classes, and the first class is up and ready on my Gumroad page where you can stream it, download it and use the files. So in general, the whole idea behind Scientific Master Course is that I will choose one topic and say everything that I know about certain topic, and I believe that this is the only way that I can cover everything or all the aspects, all the parts of music making. As we already know, this is a super complicated process when we sit in front of the computer. When we say we are making the music, in general, we are doing so many roles at once. We are composing, writing, engineering, sound design, synthesis, so many different things at once, and I believe that each of these parts is supposed to have kind of class for itself. So instead of having one enormously big course, which will be more than 40-50 hours, which I honestly believe it's completely crazy to release something like this, I decided to release it in the classes, so you will be able to choose different classes. So if you are happy with those classes, you can follow further. If not, you can choose to stop. So they're not gonna be like one big product or one big course that's gonna cost too much, because of it will cost me a lot of time. So I decided to release it in the segments or the classes, and you will be able to follow each segment and choose what is the things that you think you should improve the first. So the first class is about kick and the bass, in which I have said everything that I know about kicks and the basses, all different aspects, for full on, for dark side, for forest music. So the whole philosophy behind it, not only how to do certain things. And the course starts with the basic explanation of what's is happening with the kick and the bass, from what we are making the kick, from what we are making the bass, analyzing these oscillations whatsoever. So many different things, and that basic information is upgrading to super advanced techniques which you can use. Also, I use a different philosophy in this course, in a way of different approach. As in previous courses, it was more of a practical example where I have explained more about how it looks like to create one track from the beginning till the end. But this is a bit different. I'm sharing my different techniques in a way of referencing and saving you a lot of time whatsoever. So it is a bit different from Psychedelic Tips World 2, which I believe this is one of the best things I have ever recorded, is Psychedelic Tips World 2. But this class is completely different in a way. It's more scientific, it goes much more in the details, and it's almost 7 hours only about the kick and the bass. All right, that's been enough about that. So now let's go to the magic tools, which I will start making kind of serious, or it's not going to be serious of the videos, but in general it's going to be the topic that I will address, as we are all the most interested about some magic tools when we say, well, in a form of a plugins. So what is that we can use that will give us the result always, and something that's gonna spice up our track. So I chose for first plugin in this series, or for this topic, is Xfer OTT. And Xfer OTT is a multi-band compressor, but it's a hybrid one, as it uses the upwards and downwards compression. So it's a compressor and expander in the same time. And in my opinion, this is my number one magic tool plugin. I honestly do not believe that there are the magic tools that's gonna help you to, it's like something magical that you're gonna put on any sound and it's gonna increase, it's gonna save. So it doesn't need to mean that it's gonna, if you put OTT, that it's gonna increase the sound of your bass line, but you can use it as well. You can choose, and we will see the examples in just a few minutes. But in general, I believe that this is the only plugin that I would recommend for, let's say, the examples. Like if you have some segments or some sounds in, let's say, some older projects which you decided to open up right now, and then you realized that it has a good potential, but it was just forgotten on your hard drive. I have so many of these projects, and one of them It's just now, and today was the day when I was going through all of them and opening my older projects, and this might be also a good topic for one of my next videos. So how to manage all these older projects and what you can do in order that you maybe finish it. Can we use some of the material? So it happens that in some, because they are older projects, that or for some any other reason, that there's a bounced segment, let's say melody, something that you like a lot, but something that doesn't sound that good because it was done in the past, or because you just made a mistake in some moment and you used it and bounced it without that segment to sound powerful. So in that case, the first thing I would do, I would consider dropping OTT on that segment and to try to bring up some quality of that sound, or to make it to sound a bit bigger. So why do I believe the OTT is a good, or why OTT is my first choice when it comes for these magical plugins, is because it's a multiband compressor, it's a multiband expander, so it has ability to fix our segments or our sequences in our tracks on a frequent level. So by increasing some of the highs, mids or lows, because we have all those three different options over here, and also it will apply, or it will affect our dynamics on that channel as well, because it's upward and downward compressor, so it's going to expand and compress in the same time. So in this case, I had this melody. In general, I had several layers of this melody, but for some reason I still didn't install all of the VSTs, and there's what the repo is missing on my computer. I still didn't install it, but I will do it after this video. And in this case, I had the melody which was layered in 3 or 4 different. This one is also missing, so I have only this one when I have Hive, and it sounded something like this. Okay, so it doesn't sound so bad, right? But as it's the only segment in this track, and I wanted to hear out, because this track kind of first part is almost done. Anyway, I wanted you only to hear the drums, but I thought when I played it would be nice that you here what I did. So in general, what I did in this project is I opened some older projects from 2018, I think, and kick and bass I fixed because I came up to much better formula now. When I say formula, it's a better combination. And after I recorded the whole kick and bass class, honestly, I learned so much. I was never in opportunity to see something about kick and the bass formed in that way. So the basic information covered up, so building up the whole structure. And honestly, because all the information and all the knowledge and all experience that I was getting by learning to make the kicks and basses was coming in pieces. So there was any kind of order in the knowledge or in the process or the experience that I was gaining and building. So what I did right now was recording everything from the basic understanding of what are we making the kick from the sine wave and what's happening, then the bass line, then what we can use to process, etc, etc. So when I was checking the whole course, I learned a lot as well. And now even for me, the person who recorded this course, some things are much more obvious because I was never thinking about that before I decided to make this course. When I decided to make this course, I kind of needed to make the whole plan and in general kind of write down the whole science behind it. So what's exactly happening, and also for some things, in order that I make a course and that I try to teach some other people, I needed to check all the information that I wanted to say in this course. So I did all the research, all detailed in a kind of a way, like checking and giving my best to put only the correct information without any false information or misinformation in this course. And in general, this is why my kicks and the basses sounds much better now, because now I know exactly what I'm doing. I knew before recording this class 90%, but these 10% are the one that are gonna change a lot, because on the level where I am right now, when it comes for sound quality, everything, the small percentage is something that we can get. There's not gonna happen anything in my case that I'm gonna increase my sound for 50%. Maybe if I buy some of the hardware stuff, which I'm planning to do for my studio, but that's a story for another case. Anyway, so OTT, yeah, so many things I want to say now because I made a pause in my YouTube videos, and there's so many things I'm gonna share with you in my upcoming videos as well. Awesome. Anyway, so OTT. So when it comes to this, I want to play this part with and without kick, with and without OTT as well. So this sequence sounds pretty nice. It's a nice preset, it's a nice color. It has really nice setup of delay and the reverb. And this is gonna be for the next class of Scientific Master Course, and I cannot wait to start recording this one about sound design, single shot sounds, atmospheres, and everything that's gonna be for creating the atmosphere and the thing when it comes for making the track. So the combination of all of them and how and what tools we can use. So this is the topic for the next class. But anyway, so this is Icarus called, but it's not Icarus, it's a Hive, so I'm gonna rename it. So the Hive, it has the Echo Boy without Echo Boy and black. I'm gonna keep it like this right now. So it sounds really nice, but it's kind of richer in the mids, which I like a lot. But there's certain thing about the highs which is going to be important when the hi-hats come into the track. So if the melody or the lead does not have the highs enough, it will kind of disappear into the mix, because it's only if it's any mid oriented. My philosophy about the leads is they need to be rich in the mids, because this is where they're gonna play. So I like to saturate all the elements on their sweet spot or on their main point. So if I'm putting some darker sound, let's go, I'm gonna leave it to be a little bit in the lower mids, to go in a lower mids, and this is where I'm gonna increase them, because I'm gonna saturate that point of their frequency when they provide a certain effect. So if it's a darker sound, we wanted to put it a little bit in a lower area of frequencies. But if it's a lead or if it's a bright melody like this one, I want to saturate it in around 1 or 2K, because this is where they're gonna be heard the most and the best. So I always have something like this on my leads. I'm always gonna boost the mids on my leads or single shot sounds, just depending from the type of the single shot sounds or the leads. It's gonna depend in which frequency I'm gonna boost it. Anyway, but what's happening when the hi-hats comes in, if the whole sequence is playing only in mids, if there's not enough highs to start collaborating with the hi-hats, is gonna disappear inside of it. And this is where OTT can helps a lot, because it's gonna fix the dynamic, and we can increase with the multiband compression, we can increase certain segments or certain parts of the frequencies like mids, highs and lows. So what I did over here, I already did the gain staging on minus 9.6, because this is the really important stuff, and I have said this so many times, but it is something that I want to repeat from time to time, because it's really, really important. When you are deciding will you keep some of the plugins in your project or on your sequence or not, the most important thing is that you have the same level. So if the plugin is turned off and you see the peaks and RMS are, let's say, -5, let's say peaks -5, when you turn it on, if it's increased, then you need to reduce it. Why? And this is because we will gonna always think that louder is better. So if I now put this up and if I turn on, you will say that the difference is night and day, but it's not that much. In general, it is increasing the sound, but if it's, let's say, something like this, wow, yeah, it's super big, because now it's louder for 4, but it was for minus 9.4, and now it's like, so okay, let's recheck this, because this is super important, as I have said already. Yeah. That's about it. But can you hear the difference? It's amazing. And the best thing about this plugin is that it's free. So if you go to X4 website and you search for OTT, you'll be able to download this for free. And this multiband is actually the same one that you can find into the Serum when you go to compressor, when you turn on in the FX compressor and then you switch it to multiband. This is actually the algorithm that's implemented into the Serum. But anyway, there's a third-party plugin which you can use, as I'm using right now on a Hive as well. So what I did here, I kept the 100% on up and down, depth I kept to 100%, and if you are using it on the baseline, let's say, it's gonna be a bit too much. So let's try using this on my baseline, which sounds amazing already, but anyway, always can sound better. So let's hear it right now. That's a bit too much, right? But let's say 0%. Just the problem with it is because it's a multiband, it's gonna change the phase. So even if it's depth on 0, we can hear a lot of difference because it's in the phase. But anyway, we can fix the phase. And if you put OTT while you design your bassline, it's gonna be an amazing thing to do as well. And what you should consider when you insert the multiband plugin on your bassline, and if it changes the phase that much, try flipping it for 180 degrees, because it might happen that it's gonna just do the opposite. Anyway, so you can put it even on the bassline, but if you are putting it on the bassline, consider putting it to 10 to 20% maximum, and then you can play with it. So in general, what I did over here, like this, it's more like a bassline in a way that it have really nice rhythmical thing. It really have a nice envelope, but it's in mid oriented. With OTT it sounds compressed, but compressed that way that it's gonna kind of like compressing the highs with attack opened. So it's gonna create this new moment on the transient. On every time the note hits, there's gonna be increased amount of the highs, but it's not gonna be covered during the whole note. It's just gonna be at the beginning. As that way it's gonna have the dynamic effect as well on the whole sequence, which is really important, because otherwise I would just use the EQ and bring up the highs and I would solve that problem. But dynamically increasing some of the frequencies is what's the core about having the good sound. So this was my first Magic Tool plugin OTT, and you can put it on everything. Sometimes I even do this, but in most cases it's a bit too much. But let's group of the single shot sounds. So you can put it even on the leads, but in general I don't like, and I already said many times and also in my courses, try to avoid having the sum of big changing effects on the stems, on the groups where you have many of different sequences as well. So if you want to do, I prefer that I do it on inserts directly on one by one, or maybe I will group few of them together and then I will put on that group. Or maybe you can have the group where you will have OTT, and then you would be able to route all different segments, like send it to group if it sounds good. If not, you can send it backwards. So in general, maybe I can make a group or I can make an FX chain, but in general I think that group would be smart, like group, all right, OTT group, and then I will have OTT here with some of the settings or presets, and then I will be able to send some of those sounds and see and test directly how it will sound if I send it to OTT. Or maybe you can make an FX, but with FX it's gonna be on the send, which will mean that it will always be parallel, that you will have the original sounds mixed up with that one that's original. And I wouldn't do that with OTT because I believe it would cause some of the phasing problems. Anyway, this video is supposed to be a shorter one, but in general I really wanted to share with you about this plugin, as this was one of the topics that I wanted to address for such a long time, and this is my return on my YouTube channel and finally coming back, writing the blogs and doing the free educational stuff, which I enjoy doing a lot. And I'm really happy that I'm back on this, because this course was a bit kinda taking too much energy from me, and also now the gigs are coming up and I will maybe share some of the experiences, how it looks like to go on the gigs, especially when the summer is, etc, etc. So there's gonna be plenty of videos and plenty of new things that are gonna come up from my side, which I'm gonna share with you easily, and I'm not gonna bomb you with so many informations at once. Thank you very much for watching, and see you soon with another video on my YouTube channel. Stay well and keep safe and enjoy the summer and the festivals. Bye!